Madam Chair. My name is Sue Udry. I'm representing the Defending Dissent Foundation, and I'll be testifying today in support of the Maryland Liberty Preservation Act. And thank you to Delegate Dwyer for introducing this important bill. The Defending Dissent Foundation is a national civil liberties organization. We're based in Maryland. We were founded in 1960 as the Committee to Abolish HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee. We work to protect and expand the right to dissent in the United States by educating the public, press, and policymakers about the important role that dissent plays in a democratic society. And we alert activists when their rights are threatened, and we bring the concerns of grassroots activists to policymakers. And that's why I'm here today, because activists across the political spectrum are concerned about the provisions in the National Defense Authorization Act that strip U.S. citizens of their right to a jury trial when an unnamed bureaucrat or politician claims that they, quote, support forces which are, quote, associated with Al-Qaeda. And none of those essential terms, support, forces, or associated, are defined. So we're concerned because the law is so broad and so vague and allows the government to decide behind closed doors who can be locked up. So the potential for abuse is obviously very great. Now, supporters of the law will assure the public that the government will only use it against terrorists. Those who've done nothing wrong have nothing to worry about, but there are no safeguards in the law to ensure that those locked up are actually guilty of a crime. So we're concerned because we remember Franklin Delano Roosevelt ordering the internment of Japanese citizens during World War II. None of them did anything wrong, but our government forced them out of their homes and into prison camps for the duration of the war. And as activists, we're concerned because we remember J. Edgar Hoover's counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, that went after civil rights activists like Martin Luther King, or peace activists like Father Daniel Berrigan, or the founder of our organization, who was a fair housing activist named Frank Wilkinson, who was followed by the FBI for 4 decades. This was all in the name of fighting communism and keeping America safe. None of them did anything wrong, yet they were on the receiving end of decades-long surveillance, smear campaigns, and worse. So now we're concerned because recent Freedom of Information Act requests by the ACLU and others have turned up intelligence and training documents that show that the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and fusion centers across the country equate environmental activists, peace activists, and other political groups on the left and right as terror threats. And I think you all remember the Maryland State Police infiltrating anti-death penalty groups and labeling them in their records as terrorists. So as political activists on the left and the right, we're concerned when we're called terrorists. And there's this national law that says that the government can lock up terrorists without a trial. It seems far-fetched, sure, as we sit here today, that the indefinite detention provisions in the NDAA would ever be used against people engaged in nonviolent protest. But the fact remains that it could be, and unfortunately, it's not unprecedented in our country. So that very fact creates a chilling effect on people's willingness or their courage. They're afraid to become politically active because they know that this law is out there. It's not being used against them now, but it could be. So obviously Congress should fix the mess that they've created, and there is a transpartisan grassroots movement moving toward that end. But in the meantime, the law stands, and so we strongly encourage this committee and the Maryland General Assembly to do what it can to protect the residents of Maryland by passing this bill.